Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Global Happenings Today TV. Some hours ago, or some days back, Pa Edwin Clark had openly written to Chief Olusegun Obasanjo over his stand against the Niger Deltans. Fast forward hours after, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo replied him in an open letter, also stating his stand on what Niger Deltans stand, where Nigeria stand, and the oil in their backyard, quote and unquote, where it stands as a people and as a nation, as a resource. Well, as we speak, Nigerians have decided to put, into some legal luminaries have decided to look at this from truly the perspective where Olusegun Obasanjo is coming from, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo and Pa Edwin Clark, and they have made their stand that, look, forget the politically being correct. This is the true picture. Before we go into the news proper, I'd like you to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you'll see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Well, the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, has theorized that the oil and gas found in the Niger Delta region belong to the federal government and not to the oil-bearing communities. Legally speaking, Olusegun Obasanjo can be said to be correct because he was part and parcel of successive military juntas that clearly and cleverly and systematically inserted the expropriatory and inhuman laws concerning ownership of oil and gas into our statute books. But does that make such laws right or justifiable? No, I think not. Ex-President Obasanjo should be told in very clear terms that there is such an overriding principle of law which goes with the maxim of quick quid platatato, solo credit. Solo said it. This literally means that whoever owns the land owns everything on top of it. Any extant constitutional or statutory provisions such as those apparently referred to by Olusegun Obasanjo that run contrary to this commonsensical common law principle are therefore nothing but bad, immoral, exploratory, and exploitative laws. Help me inform Olusegun Obasanjo that Nigeria operates a federal system of government and that federalism is fiscal and plural. One of the major attributes of federalism is that it ensures that regions, subnational or federating units develop according to their pace and needs, using the God-given resources that are available to such units. They pay tax to the central government. Help me inform President Olusegun Obasanjo that a law that literally steals the resources of a people, punishing them with destruction of their only available aquatic and agrarian life, even though in the status book it is a bad, aberrant, and obnoxious law. This is strong. Help me tell Olusegun Obasanjo that in the United States of America, since oil was discovered in 1859, a country whose presidentialism and federalism we actually look after and copy. Oil and gas are not owned by the American federal government, but by the surface owners. While oil and gas offshore are owned either by states or federal government, help me remind Olusegun Obasanjo that before the January 15, 1967, the purge led by Major Cardinal Nzeogu Chukwuma, neither the cotton, granite, and hinds and skin obtainable in the north, the cocoa grown in the west, palm produce produced in the east, nor the rubber and timber that existed in the then Midwest were said to belong to the federal government. They belonged to the region that took a lion's share of 50% while paying tax to the federal government at the center. What has changed? Nothing, I believe. Help me remind Olusegun Obasanjo to remember history that the major reason his 2005 political reform conference failed was because of the rancor and ruckus generated by the thorny and still unsolved controversy of resource control. He should remember that this led the South-South delegates to stage a walkout from the conference. I was not only a civil society delegate, I was actually the head of the civil society unit that drafted our final committee report and recommendation. Obasanjo should therefore not have dismissed such a festering, thorny issue as oil and gas and bleeding oil-bearing communities with a wave of the hand in a most provocative and cavalier manner. The 1960 Independence Constitution and the 1963 Republican Constitution had actually activated true fiscal federalism after the 1957 to 1958 Wellings Commission report, which had identified and validated the fears of minorities within Nigerian space. Help me inform Obasanjo that the failure of the 1922 Clifford Constitution, 1946 Arthur Richards Constitution, 1951 Macpherson Constitution, and 1954 Littleton Constitution was partly ascribed to the overbearing influence of majority tribes over the minority ones. That's 374 ethnic groups in Nigeria, according to Professor Onigo Otete. This is strong. People are going back to history to correct things. Let's continue. Kindly emphasize to Chief Olusegun Obasanjo that as an elder statesman, former military head of state, and former democratic president, his well-respected public statements and opinions, which he is constitutionally entitled to, should be generously garnished with unifying, healing, therapeutic, and inclusive flavor, and not with the vinegar of divisive and provocative statements. The Niger Delta region has been repressed, suppressed, marginalized, and neglected. Respected Obasanjo, more than any other person, knows this very well. Having had the rare privilege of governing Nigeria both in khaki and agbada, the poor people have had to pay with their sweat, their sorrow, their tears, their blood, their pains and pangs over their God-given wealth. The wealth has become a curse rather than a blessing. I wholly disagree with Obasanjo's thesis. I rather embrace per E.K. Clark's antithesis, which wears a human face. This is actually coming from a lawyer of repute. I do not know why this is going so high, but I guess that this is a case of that's Mike Ozekhome, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, saying, trying to bring the attention of the former president of Nigeria over the fact that this is not just the peripheral issue of thesis. It's deep. It's having a human face. It may just be like thesis, but there are human beings with feelings involved. And he's saying that the reason why to continue like this is because that they have still not corrected the ills and the though you may call it gains, but the ills of the past, of the history that ought to change so that Nigeria can truly heal. Let's